we have had quite a bit of NFL news over the last, 5-6 hours. Derek Carr officially released from the Raiders just a short while ago. And he was released because if they didn't release him before 4 p.m. Eastern, they'd have to pay him his guaranteed $40.4 million in his contract. So now Derek Carr is a free agent and will test the waters. I'm sure he's going to get snatched up fairly quickly. Adam Schefter's tweeted that he's expected to draw interest from the Saints, Panthers, among some other organizations. So, KJ, if you were going to put your money on where Carr goes to next, what team?
The NFC South. Pick one, because they're all going to be failing situations that he could hide behind, right? Like, you're literally talking about a division where nobody had a winning record. So Derek Carr would fit perfectly there. And there are a lot of GMs and a lot of teams that are thinking, thank you for releasing him, because he would have been a new watermark for a lot of mediocre quarterbacks in the NFL. People like Daniel Jones, who had a better season, but nothing. He's mid, as the kids would say. Mac Jones, when he come up and say, mid, so by him not being able to get that $40 million, he's going to have to renegotiate lower. No one's going to pay him the 40. So I could see a team like Tampa, because they still have some tools and pieces there that they feel like, hey, they can win division again and get into the playoffs, keep that merch selling, that playoff merch selling, because you start selling in the postseason, you get kind of addicted to that stuff. So I don't see the Panthers. They've got too much of a rebuild going on. You'd hate to get into a losing situation and bringing in this new quarterback. The Saints could be tempting, but you just don't know what the status of Michael Thomas is long term. So Tampa would be the best fit in the NFC East for him, in the NFC South for him.
So based on you saying he can go somewhere bad where he can kind of hide behind all that stuff, that makes me think that you don't think too highly of Derek Carr as a quarterback.
Oh no. He's the chewing gum that is, you take your first couple of bites, you're like, man, this might be some of the best gum I've ever tasted. Then you get to your 10th chew and you're like, oh my gosh, can we get another piece of gum in here? That's literally Derek Carr. He's good for maybe his flavors. Yeah, what's that?
I've never heard that analogy, but I love it. I might have to steal that and use that in the future, because that was fantastic.
I just thought of it right now. I'm used as a vessel. Well, actually, this earpiece is fed to me by a comedian. I'm totally kidding. No, but literally, he's that guy. He's the flavor for the moment, and then when it wears out bad. Like, you think about this. When they waived Derek Carr today, did they also probably let him know in an email, we'll be sending a FedEx box for you to box up your computer to send it back. Take your time. You know what I mean? Like don't even come back to the facilities. Just, we'll send you any boxes. Just mail the computer back. I only know that because they've asked me to do that in my career a couple of times. Just mail the computer back. Don't show up to the building.
Uh-oh, that's not a good sign, KJ. Mailing the computer back.
Sometimes it's what you have to do.
Odds for Derek Carr's next team. Panthers are the favorite, plus 140. Saints, plus 150. Then you go Jets, plus 300. I'm with you. I think he goes somewhere in the NFC South, but I also think the Jets could be an interesting landing spot for him, because they don't have to give up quite as much for Derek Carr as they would for Aaron Rodgers. And do they want to give up a ton for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who might be there a year, maybe two? Who knows if they make it as far as they'd hope to with him, and then all of a sudden the Jets are back in the same position that they are right now without a quarterback, where maybe you take a risk on someone like Carr, who clearly, KJ, you don't think very highly of, and I don't disagree with you necessarily, but you're not giving up a ton and kind of ruining your future for the next 3, 4, 5 years like you would with Aaron Rodgers if things didn't pan out with Rodgers the way you had hoped. Any validity to that?
Yeah, well, here's the Jets. The Jets are the guy in that infamous meme where he's got the girlfriend in the blue dress and walking by is the girl in the red dress. Except for the girl in the red dress should be Derek Carr. But the Jets are going to continue to stare down Aaron Rodgers so badly that they're going to lose the blue dress. So let me bring this all back for Valentine's Day. Look, I think the Jets, by hiring Nathaniel Hackett, that's one thing. They're like, hey, because wasn't that supposed to be the angle last year when he was hired with the Broncos? Like, hey, you have this relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers may want to go. We'll hire you. Aaron Rodgers didn't come. Now you get hired as the offensive coordinator. You're like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, I might be able to get him. You're like, man, shout out to whoever handles Nathaniel Hackett's agent. Look, just use this line and roll with it. Because here's the thing, and even though we'll probably get into what Aaron Rodgers will do later, why would Aaron Rodgers go somewhere and then commit to be there longer when he probably only wants to be there for 1 year, where with Derek Carr, he probably wants to restart his life with the Jets. He'd be in New York City. He kind of have that flamboyance of, I'm taking it back, old school, Richard Todd type Jets QB flair to him, and kind of be kind of the darling of the city a little bit. Got a little gunslinger to him, a little attitude, a little heart. They love that there, but boy, Aaron Rodgers looks so good in that red dress. They're gonna miss out on Derek Carr.
Yeah, I again, your analogies are on point today. I love that. Yeah, I don't think the Jets necessarily need a superstar quarterback right now with the roster that they have. I mean, their defense is set. They just need someone to come in and not mess things up terribly. They need someone who can come in that can just run their offense, manage the game, and that's kind of what Derek Carr is. He's not going to be someone that, I don't know, changes the forecast of your franchise, and the Jets aren't looking for that. Now, if you look at the NFC South, I mean, you've got the Panthers and Saints, Bucks. Of the three of them, I think the Bucks, like you said, would probably be the most appealing to Carr because they still have some pieces intact despite having a ton of players in free agency come this summer.
Yeah, plus, you could address the Leonard Fournette situation with a running back in the draft. You don't need to grab a superstar. You just have to make minor changes, probably, shore up the defense a little bit. But, you would be able to still be able to play the deep threat game where I think, say, Jimmy Garoppolo would be a better fit with the Jets than anybody else that we've talked about maybe in terms of that game management stuff.